Shouts to my girl. All right, everyone. Let's turn on some more happy music. I was going to straight up just go into the Bone Thugs and Harmony as well, go to Crossroads, but I think that we, at this point, are well into stream. Hello, everyone. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hello, hello. And I looked him in the eyes and I said, why, Drive? Why? Why, Black Dynamite? Why? All right. We have some building to do. So tonight, we actually have a mission to accomplish. I'm gonna blow up my computer for just one thing, because right now, I can see the CPU levels about 20-ish%, 25%. But we are going to get to building tonight, so thank you all, everyone, for being here so far. Being here and chat with us. How's it going, everyone? It's going Bingle Bob, Calamari, Chris Menser, Tyler, hello. Words, my words, Dialis. Answering the question, what is the best element inside of Elestrals? What is the best type in Elestrals? Let me know what you guys think as well in the chat. I have some food. I made some spring rolls, some chicken spring rolls. Also a protein shake because unfortunately I worked out super late today. Had some stuff I had to do. If you guys follow me on Twitter at Swolex, you guys know that I was expeditiously adding Goss and Blur to every single Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube thumbnail imaginable possible. So there's that. But we'll see. What's going on, Q is too short. Hello, good to see you. Nut, I'm saying. Tonight we have one goal. Tonight we have one goal. The best element is the friends we made along the way. It's so true. It's so true. I'll explain the premise once we get started here in just a little bit. Hopefully everyone's doing okay and doing great. We'll get started here in just one single moment. How's everyone doing tonight? How's everyone doing? Thank you for joining me on this late night stream. We were going to stream a lot earlier, but I had plans, unfortunately. Like I always do. You know, Swolex, top 5 sleepless Elestrals caster in the world. So there's that and a half. New discovery to show everyone. Big Pog champs for Coastalith. Look at this. I pulled a Coastalith. Yo! Coastalith. Yo! Enjoying Astrobot? Peak. It's peak. It's peak. It's peak. It's peak. It's peak. I love Astrobot. Astrobot is so crazy because it's like literally the best game that Sony's ever made. And people were like, why is this bad for the community? It's like, it's good. It's amazing. It was peak for the PS5, and it's the second best game on the PS5 by far, next to the new one. The new Astros Playroom is the good one. It's crazy. Earth has so many tools, like Mudland and Equilinks, and thus making it the best element. I think that's possible. What's going on, Skyhawk? Hello, good to see you. Everyone say hi, Skyhawk. We are going to be getting into it here in just a second. The premise of tonight is quite simple. We have one question to answer, and we'll get into it. All right, ready? So I'm gonna boot up, and I'm gonna destroy my computer for a quick, brief second. If you guys want to follow me along here, and beware. Okay. So I'm gonna show you guys something, and you have to promise me not to freak out. Okay? Can I get a I promise Swolex in chat? Can I get an I promise Skyhawk? Because Skyhawk also is someone you have to promise to. Or promise it to A-Drive. Either or. Freaking out ahead of time? Good. Freaking out preemptively? Okay, good. Also take that. Good. Okay. 3, 2, 1. That's not what I wanted. Wait, hold. That's not what I wanted. There we go. Woo! Okay, let me hide the wheel. Spoilers. Okay, everyone. We are here. Let me know if the music's too loud. Let me know if things are a little bit crazy. We are here for tonight's big premise. Big premise tonight. We have to decide one thing. What type is the best type in Elestrals? And I thought the best way to do that would be to build a ton of decks. Now, what you're seeing on screen here is a, I guess technically proprietary, simulator or deck builder that was built by a phenomenal member of the community. You guys might know him as The Law. Crazy this deck builder like works insanely, but it's very good for visualizing decks like this. I think it's a very important tool for the community, and I think that it's really good. Now, this isn't the most updated version of this, unfortunately, because I think this is also like a problem, because I unfortunately don't want a ton of malware. But this thing, quite literally, for some reason, just makes my computer go boom. Now, some people theorize there might be a memory leak, and I also think that might be true, but we'll see. Okay, so what are we doing today? If you guys may have noticed, a wheel pog, oh, wheel time. We have a wheel on the screen with every single element inside of Elestrals. Our job tonight is to spin a wheel and start there. We are going to be building, or rather, I'm going to be trying to build a deck of how I think is, or what I think is best inside of each element. That way you guys can prepare for October 1st. October 1st is when the new lunar cards get added into the game. The new meta is also upon us. I mean, we have the limits to Lavalith, to Earthquake, to Laurels, and to, did I say Lavalith already? Lavalith, Earthquake, Laurels, and the ban on Drataya. RIP our boy. I'm missing Omni. I am missing Omni, unfortunately. But an Omni deck could be pretty good. But that just seems, that's just fives, right? We're just building a fives list at that time. I think that's what that is just building fives. But we can build fives as well. Anyways, so Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTuber not try to spin a wheel challenge impossible. We are going to spin this wheel, figure out what we're starting with, and build a deck for it. The hope is here to give you guys maybe some inspiration, maybe for deck building and a particular type you're looking for. Maybe we can revolve around a boss monster, boss Elestral, or some sort of big body, and maybe find out what is the predominant best element there, right? I think that's a pretty neat idea, at least for me. Also, it would give me a chance to help flex and build some decks inside of the game of Elestrals. And if you guys stick around till the end, you guys can vote on which deck we take into tournament, because I actually have no clue what to play this format, and this will probably be it. Whatever deck we build tonight is probably going to be the deck that I'm going to be playing. We'll spin a wheel again. We'll do all the random stuff. So if you are ready, let me know, and we'll start. And we'll start. Okay. Change the music a little bit. Get it in there. And in 3, 2, 1, spin that wheel. Where are we gonna start today? Solar! Oh, Pog! Solar, let's go! Okay. We get to land on Solar. Dialis, Solar's strongest soldier. Let's go. Shouts Dialis. All right, we'll hide this choice. We'll hide the wheel real quick. We have what's that? 7 more on the wheel. Let's start with this. Let's start with it. All right. Now, the first thing I think we have to do, obviously, is add in our splash flavor, right? Things that we are going to be playing essentially no matter what inside of the game of Elestrals, and that's going to be quite specifically the runes. Now, I'm gonna go for every rune here. That way we can maybe start from there. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start with a baseline. This baseline is gonna start with like 3 copies of Ambrosia, probably a copy of Restorative Laurels because we can, and we could only have 1. Then 3 Gorgons, 3 Tip, it's removal. Maybe 3 shield. I'm gonna put in 2 shield. I've been liking 2 shield recently. It seems pretty good. And then I've been foregoing Cryoblast inside of my builds recently, and I think I'm gonna continue to do that just for now. I think Solar actually has a pretty good matchup into things. We're gonna play 2 copies of Tsunami. Just sort that out. Okay, so here's our base. Here's our base, right? This is what we're gonna start off with. Now, this is probably gonna be the base for most decks that we're playing, but there is some variation in the form that we don't really have to play Rabbit if we don't need to or don't want to. I think that's like a pretty big difference. Now, we probably should splash in the 1 copy of Earthquake into a deck like Solar because we just like have the Spirit Math room. Like, we don't really need to play all the Solar, you know? Like, I think we can easily do that. How's the music, everyone? Is it too loud or is it too quiet? I actually can't quite tell. Normally I have a little thing that shows me like which one that's like if it's too loud or too slow or too quiet. You guys let me know. Test 1 2. Big test 1 2. Sounds good to me. All right, let's continue. Okay, so we'll get to the spirit math later because I think the spirit math is something that we're gonna have to ultimately deal with, like maybe slim down some stuff. I know some people are teching in the 1 copy of Lavalith, they're teching in like the 1 copy of Earthquake because it's like still really good. I don't personally like that in every single deck. I think that's like, that is very Yu-Gi-Oh pilled, that's very Yu-Gi-Oh brained thing to do, is say like, oh, I'm gonna drop these power bombs. But we, I think that's just you don't need it inside a deck like Solar especially, right? But yeah, Spirit Math Cactivity, you do, okay. Shoutouts to Dialis, who's played 20 Solar Spirits inside of his list for Top Cut. Let me show you real quick the Spirit Math that Dialis had in his brain. This was Dialis's spirit deck for the tournament in which they got top 8. Isn't that amazing? Just monkey. Just monkey. Oh, incredible. Incredible. Is so good. So good. Incredible. Are we building the Nexus Foretell or Artifact Solar? I'm a big fan of the Foretell Solar in this new format because of the lack of removal, you're oftentimes able to ascend into things like your Celestlio or also like your Lustragon, and that gets like a really good payoff, and you can still do the Nexus stuff if you want to, but like you instead of building it without the Lions, you're building it with the Lions, which is really cool. So if I had to really like single on it, so first things first, we're gonna keep the 20 spirits in here real quick. We're gonna have that in here. But let's fill out some Elestrals. I kind of want to go into the Solar Elestrals just to start, and then we'll fill it out. So big fan of 1 copy of the Celestlio. I think Celestlio is like really sweet. So I have a suggestion for adding 2 drops that you can shuffle away. Oh, for adding 2 drops of Leaf. Oh, yeah. See, because if I miss this Foretell, I will expend myself. Artifact Solar is weaker since you probably die a lot to people. I was like, oh, Rhino Sec's gonna be everywhere. When we get to Frost, I think that when we get to Frost to build Frost, like, guys, I've seen some, I don't know how much I can spoil, but the Frost element is making a comeback. I don't know if you guys have been testing it, if you guys have been seeing stuff in your testing circles, but for me, I've been getting washed by Frost consistently. Like, Earth is like the only deck I think that can compete there, like realistically speaking. Thunder I think has a chance too, but like, but Frost is like scary. Frost is mega scary, right? That's ridiculous right there. Cryo Rhino is such a crazy deck. Yo, it's true. It's actually insane. I'm not looking forward to playing it. Also, if I die to this chicken, I want you to know it was delicious. What's going on, Got Rose? Hello. New to the game, what's this deck builder? This deck builder was created by a member of the community named the Law Elestrals, the Law YGO. It's not really available right now. I have it as a way to like for the stream to kind of showcase off like decks in a visual manner that I think is like makes a lot of sense for people. Otherwise, I will say this, the website, the playelestrals.com website does have a pretty good deck builder. It's just not as like easy or as convenient to make like decks and strategies like this, you know? Like it's still really good, don't get me wrong, but it's like, this is probably the best one so far. There used to be a site called elestralsdecks.com that everyone used because it was browser based. And I really hope that that deck, that gets updated or it gets some more love or someone takes upon that project, because like it really needs a GitHub. I will say that because it's like that is such a perfect way for the community to build decks and share decks in a very convenient, easy way. But for now, we have something like this and we can just take screenshots and pictures. So it's also the same simulator that MBT has been using for MBT Elestrals has been using for their channel. So if that's anything there. Okay, so on to the next. Okay, so we have to add some solar guys. I don't like Corvashine, but I've been told Corvashine is good. So we'll go 2 Corvashine, 2 Jotara, 2 Zaltos. Next, like, Kothmel is cool. I do like 3 Lumaru as a big body and it's a 5. Lumaru is a pretty solid option for solar, I think, right now, especially. 3 Neblio for sure. Hands down, we gotta do Neblio. Absolutely. I do like 1 Peegleam. Peegleam's good. Maybe 2 Plucky seems okay. Again, we're just kind of adding things and then we'll cut down from here. 3 Soul Bell, 2 Soul Stocks, a Lustragon, and we do have to add our 3 copies of Apollo, maybe 2 copies of Apollo. I don't know. We're gonna add First Light to this as well, by the way. And I think that's gonna help out a lot with the strategy. Oh god, the Stained Glass Celestia really does look like the good. Really does look like, but it's amazing. It looks good. It looks good. It's amazing. Where's Apollo? Born Apollo. Outstanding. Temple of the Sun is a consideration inside the list, but it's like not as good because it's okay. I've been told this by the collective like Elestronauts as well, is that if this deck could have 45 cards, you'd play 3 Temple of the Sun. But as of now, there's not really like a big reason to, because it's just the deck space is so tight. Like it'd be really good, and it's probably the best of the fields because, or the stadiums, because like all of your solars are pretty small. So you want to pair it with something like Temple to really buff up the stats. Makes everything effectively a 5, which is like really strong, but it's just not like efficient spirit wise. But it is safer now because Laurels is not as prevalent, right? Which is good. But I don't know. I don't even know if we need 3 Plucky more as if we need just 3 Apollo. I think 3 Apollo is just really good with the Soul Stocks engine. So something like this. We're still high on guys, so I don't want to play this many. Like, I don't like Corvashine. I don't like Corvashine at all, really. Jotara I also don't really like it too. Like a lot of solar, I don't know what you guys think, or Dialysis is the best one to maybe chime in on this one too. I don't necessarily like that. I feel as if a lot of solar guys are so good, but you have to play them in 2s, right? They're like crabs, they come in pairs. And that's a joke for literally 3 people in the audience who've seen Hot Shots. Old Charlie Sheen, not to be old man about it. Anyways, so because all of them are like very utility based, and they are utility based, is that they all do certain things and do different things that gives the solar like element a lot of coverage, which is super nice. But I cannot run more than 3 because the deck space is just so tight and they're all just so small, right? They all just don't really do a ton, which is there. I would go up on Lustragon too. I actually don't know if you need to go up on Lustragon because you're also playing the Celestlio. The cool thing about the new meta is that because removal is just like not quite there, you can really like ham in the fact that you're gonna ascend over dudes. So I think that's fine. I don't like Corvashine though. I'm gonna take out Corvashine because I think we need to start playing First Lights, because First Light is very, very strong. Especially Foretold off of the Neblio. You can just start stacking and doing like crazy shenanigans. I think that's like super cool, right? Yeah, change it to Neblio. Yeah, we're running the 3 Neblio, which is like, okay. What's going on, J Fun? Hello, good to see you. Cows have not worked for me in testing. Oof, I don't know how to explain this, but it's like the solar deck that we've been getting creamed by, and to be fair, Josh is the one that's piloting this. So to be fair, this is Josh being like literally one of the best players inside the entire world. And he's on cows. I will say that cows are pretty good, but they do run low on spirits, so you do need to see things like your Jotara or your Ambrosias like pretty frequently. Because you are foretelling, it's pretty expensive to do the Apollo plays. Like First Light is a good card, but doesn't really get you like an immediate return. It's a very much delayed return. So there's that, if we're into that. Outside Laurels, Solar usually has or hasn't board. That's also true. See, that's the thing about the Earthquake and the Laurels that I'm like kind of hesitant on, is because like siding Laurels I think into like the one of is fine, but it's like also a good blowout card. Like, do you really need it if you have the Celestlio or the Lestragon? Maybe not. That's a good point. Like, we can maybe just cut it, or cut the Earthquake for the Spirit Math. But Earthquake's like immediate, which is nice. Like, if you had to choose a bomb, you'd probably choose Earthquake, right? You might choose Earthquake initially, and that's probably fine. You are playing 1 Peegleam. It's Peem! You are definitely playing 1 Peegleam. Oh. I'm not. You know what song I do need in the background? It's good working music. There we go. Back into it. 99, back to the lab again. All right, we messed up. Should I just cut Corvishine altogether? Do you guys think Corvishine is like worthwhile? I mean, it's like really good subsequentially, but like, it's almost as not better to do than the other things, right? I think I have enough Elestrals. I think I need to just like start with First Lights. But then again, you need this much Elestrals because you need Celestlio to really hit. Maybe you don't even need 2 Soul Stocks. You do need 2 Soul Stocks, what am I saying? If you do 2 cows? I don't know. Also, Apollo encourages one-ofs with this effect. It does, right? See, that's my exact thought process too, is that you kind of just want the random one-ofs. But you probably do want to play 2 or 3 First Light, for sure. And so maybe the Sighting Up the Laurels is about right, because your removal comes in the form of like your guys, especially the Soul Stock, so you don't really need that. That's a good, that's the thought process there. We're working it out, we're working it out. Are we on Altar of Stars, Lestragon? We're not. So I think you don't need it in this deck. Like, you could play Altar, and maybe you do, actually. Maybe you do play Altar, because there's no reason not to. Especially whenever a lot of these guys are receives. And you are Apolloing, so you might as well play like extra counter runes. But around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 counter runes. Pretty alright. What's going on, Paradox? Hello, what'd you miss? Nothing crazy. We're going over Solar. So the premise tonight for those of us who are just like popping in. Make sure to reserve your pogs. A wheel, yo! We're spinning a wheel. We are getting a spirit type, and we're trying to build what I would perceive to be maybe like one of the, like, trying to build like a good deck in that element and inside that spirit type. That's what that's kind of what we're doing tonight. So we're gonna do it for every single spirit type on the wheel, and that way we can build it for this current format. That way you guys can get an idea of what decks you could build as well. And we're gonna like effectively be speed running some strategies for you. And also he'll help me out, like flesh out how I'm thinking about this format. So, you know, really it's a mutual benefit. But yeah, we'll see. I like Altar over Tsunami. Just put this two on the side for now. I think that's also like a good idea, because I was thinking like where to fit it, and it's like in this deck specifically, because how much you're relying on Apollo, and like how much you can just like Celestlio into everything. Let me go back to some music here. Banger track. Okay. Okay, this isn't Volt Tempest. What's going on, JT? Hello. Everyone say hi, JT. Excellent video, by the way. I know everyone was like, that like hit the rounds for everyone and hit the algorithm for people. Amazing video talking about Elestrals versus Yu-Gi right now. But yeah. Yeah, there's gonna be so much water. Oh god. Draking, I think, is gonna be an actual issue. Draking is gonna be everywhere. So a good water strategy, I think, will be good too. But yeah, I think Tsunami could definitely go to the side. I do like 2 Altar. I don't like 3 Altar, but I've been not liking 3 Altar for like a lot of things, which is like unfortunate, because it's such a good card, but you just don't need it in a deck like this. Because Altar is not an Altar deck. Like, you don't really get anything off the Altar deck except for specifically Corvishine. So it's like whatever. Yeah, Draking about to make Shield irrelevant. Now, here's crazy. I think there's gonna be a lot of decks, especially with the speed of the game coming up again, that like Counter runes are back in full force. That being said, we're only running like 10. So, but it's okay because this deck doesn't really need it because its destruction is going to be in the form of like the Celestials and stuff, right? Which I think is fine. We do need random 2 copies of. Actually, I would straight up be running like 15 here, and then we're gonna run spirits. We're gonna do our 2 Terratless Earth Spirits for our Earthquakes, and we're gonna run three Water Spirits. This way we can also misenchant Lumaroom and play around the Lumaroom, which is good. What's going on, Brown Ale? Hello, good to see you. If you didn't want to play the first lights in the main, Eddy is an option for your Water Spirits. I'd like Eddy in most decks as like a general utility. I don't know if it's good in Solar. Like, it is, right? I don't know. Since the Chronology structure is cheap, probably play Water. That's also true. Haven't been a big fan of First Light. I think First Light's crazy, and specifically the Nebuleo strategy, because it's just advantage you can add back to your hand. And then on top of that, like, being able to stack your Celestio, Apollo, and then ascend over like your Pluckies is like really, really strong. But I don't know. What's going on, Juicy Bay? Hello. Or Juichi Bay. How do I pronounce your name? I don't know about the card game, but I want to say your editing skills are fucking godlike. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Actually, it's a big editing team. Big editing team here at the Lestronauts specifically. Just because we have Coder, who's now editing, got him back to doing it. Josh, Caleb, and myself, of course. I will say though, I'm having fun editing myself a lot recently, which is good. What's going on, Nathan? Hello, good to see you. Is it worth running 1 EQ now? I think so. I think if you have the spirit math for it and you can afford the spirits, you should. And it's gonna be always live, so it's like a random one-off bomb you can just like pop in, right? Right. I think it's pretty good that way. How do you feel about mulligans this format? I think mulligans are bad. And not in the way that people think. I think they're good because they just get you into like your combo pieces, right? But it's bad because I think the decks that are going to want a mulligan, like, are going to get major advantage off that mulligan, right? Does that make sense? Like, it's not bad in the way that like you shouldn't mulligan, but it's bad because I think we're going to see a lot of decks that are just going to be like, oh, I'm going to mulligan until I get my combo, and now I just win on the spot, right? Like the Frost deck I think is really scary. I think Solar can be really scary with that. I think Earth can mulligan for free. And I think that like the heal deck can also still mulligan for free, right? And so decks like that, they're gonna be able to get like a free mulligan. Incredibly strong, incredibly strong. Give me 1 second. I've been like trying to check this audio real quick, and it seems like it's maybe a little bit loud. Turn it down just a little bit. Right there. But yeah, how scale of 1 to 10? How do we feel about this? Scale of 1 to 10. How do we feel about this list? I want to know your opinions, and you know, Dias also feel free to as our strongest Solar enjoyer. Eight, like it. It's good. 7, okay, we'll take 7. Strong 7. 8 out of 10. Not a huge Lumaroon enjoyer. Big Lumaroon enjoyer. Lumaroon very strong. Lumaroon strong together. Eight. See a lot of 8s. Okay. Big fan of 8s. Not yet. Once we get 8s that are turbo out, we'll get to Rhinosect here in a little bit. But like that. Okay. Would you say we can move on to the next spirit list, or you guys want to build out like a side deck? Have you tested this list yet? Or just first draft? Just first draft. This is just first draft. Effectively, most of these lifts, 0 out of 10 no Jotaya. No Jotaya, he says. He's so right. I just... Everywhere I go, see him. Undo this hurt that you caused when you walked out the door and walked out on my life. Uncry these tears. I've cried so many nights. Stay strong. Stay strong. Stay strong. Stay strong. Should have been Exile Flare. It should have been me. All right, back to where we were. As we're. All right. So, I think this, yeah, all these things are gonna be first drafts. We can go back through them and maybe like test them out a little bit. But the idea will be that I think we're gonna take these on Tuesdays. If you guys do not know, I try to stream, or I want to try to stream the casual Tuesday night tournaments as well. So Tuesday evening, we're gonna be trying to take whichever one of these decks to the casual tournament and see if we're gonna, we're gonna kill it. It will be the first day the new lunar stuff will be legal too. So big shifts in the meta, like a lot of new cards coming in, and we're gonna see like a lot of really interesting strategies. So I think for a first draft, this isn't like too bad if I could surmise. But yeah, 3 Apollo is weird. I kind of, here's the thing about Apollo. Apollo is expensive, absolutely. But the foretells and the foretell strategy thing is like really strong, especially paired with Soul Bell and the Soul Stalks. Like, because again, of the lack of removal for most decks, the cows are like back. The cows are back, baby. In fact, because of that, we're gonna name this deck, Dad Came Back. Oh, Cack. Back with milk. Save deck. Success. All right, that's solar. That's solar down. I think that we have a good representation of what potentially would be a solar deck that you could play for this upcoming format, upcoming events. Again, we're playing the 3 water for some side deck cards. We probably won't really doing a lot of the side deck stuff. But can Fire B deck be bears? If I do bears, the other knots would kill me. But I'm kind of down because it's been like 4 weeks and Josh is still kind of sick. Like, he's got this crazy cough, and it's like, I feel really bad because Josh is like the #1 bears enjoyer. Outside of me. Actually, he's like the #1 bears enjoyer. And I feel so bad because we have to do a deck profile with him. It sucks. It's like he has to be there. It's peak. He has to be there. But Fire can also be the Fire Nexus one. But he's got to be there. He's got to be there. Incredible. All right, so Dad came back with the milk. Incredible. All right, new deck. Wait, none selected. Okay. I also have a bunch of decks in here. Forget the names, but like, I've been cooking. I've been cooking with some of these lists. Now, to be fair, a lot of these are like kind of out in the open and kind of just doing stuff, but we'll see. Get him on. He's a building master. He really is the build master. He really is. But I know if we do it, we're gonna be on until like 4 in the morning. So unfortunately, we can't. All right, Dad came back with the milk. Okay. Open up the wheel. All right, chat, let's go gambling. We will win. We will win. We will win. Pokemon, what's it called? Game room, music, gold. Ah, here we go. All right. All right, chat. We will wind. We will wind. It is now wheel time. Ready? 3, 2, 1, spin! Frost! Aw, man, so close to win. Very, very close to win. Everyone check on your femmes. Every single femme that I know that plays Elestrals, Frost is their deck. Is that because of Keon? I can't tell you. The correct choice. Frost is really interesting as a strategy. Okay, we'll talk about this a little bit before we get into the actual deck building. Frost is by far one of the worst spirit types inside of the previous format. But in this upcoming format, I think really scary. I think very, very scary. So, let's get to building. We have 6 more elements left, so we'll go for it. Rhino sex, quite literally, it'll be Rhino sex. Quite literally Rhino sex. Oh, let's go Frost, yeah! All right, yeah, literally stonks through the roof on a Rhino sect. Okay, new deck. Okay, so first things first that we have to do here, again, the spear math will maybe adjust to taste a little bit. So we're gonna go for runes, and we do have to put in, I think we can put in 1 earthquake. I think Frost also, unfortunately, does want to play like some tsunamis. I don't really know. Again, we'll go with our little menage a trois, and then we'll cut from here. There we go. Perfect. All right, now for Frost. Here is the absolute wild part. Not wild heart, but wild part. Oh, Cryoblast, absolutely. That's a given. Plus, I think we play like a Keon or 2. Maybe 1 Keon? Maybe 2 Keon. Anyways. 3 of this. Yeah, we do have to play Narpoon before we get into the Frost Elestrals. We best not forget Narpoon, the best Frost searcher inside the entire strategy. Frost is like incredibly consistent because of like cards like this for sure. And that's something that I'm like it just makes this deck so incredibly strong to play with. Okay. So previous list of Frost, we're playing like a Frost Nexus strategy. You could even go Waylance if you really wanted to, which is kind of crazy to think about. But I don't think we really need to go Waylance anymore. I think instead, we could get away with like the Morfrost engine, and we play Morolith. I think Morolith is crazy. Turn 1 Morolith is on right now because there's no removal. Like, what do? I think DK would play Waylance, then we're off Waylance. We are hella off Waylance. So we are so far off Waylance that I want to delete it from this app. If DK's on Waylance, I'm off Waylance. Amazing. Okay. Let's build. Let's build. They're so far off. Whale you back on it. I know, it's crazy. Taflo's such a good card paired with the Rhino double summon. Isn't that kind of crazy, right? Show me that deck profile. Round 1. Negate. All right, we're playing Waylance, the #1 card in Elestrals. Just leaked, new cards leaked, Waylance. Powerful new strategy for Elestrals. Now, can you legally cheat with this card? Absolutely. Absolutely you can do it. Now should you? I can't tell you if you should. But many are saying, including many people I've talked to, that Waylance is the card you can do it with. I'm going to show you for educational purposes, but you must know how to play around this. The TCG players will tell you differently, and you don't have to respond to Waylance's effect. There we go. We're not doing Aramare anymore. I think you can do Aramare, frankly. Like in a Rhinosect list, like in general. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that you're instead playing like you're doing like this. Like, not like this. We have to play more Frost in here. But like, I think you do something like this. In fact, you might even cut the counter runes, like shields and tips. I think you're playing like, where are we? 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. Maybe more. That's dangerous. It's this. No, it's this. It's crazy, right? Actually, maybe we can even cut Earthquake, because this deck has Cryoblast native, so you don't even really need to run the one bomb, and it makes this like combo way more consistent if you're running stuff like this. Again, the big thing with this list that is like kind of cracked is the way you can just turbo out guys, right? Like you can straight up just go more Frost effect, Morolith turn 1, and then what are they gonna do? Turn 2, you go Cryoling, Cryovern. Oh, we have to have him Frostix. Oh god, wow, this deck space is getting tight. This deck space is getting real tight. Oh wow. We gotta add one Frostix. You gotta one running Frostix. More Frostex and Shambles? Oh, absolutely in Spandals. Yeah, Spectrus is still peak. Spectrus quite literally does solo the Morfrost engine, which is I think is why we're not playing like a large contingency of it, but instead using it as a vehicle to get our Morolith online and like a backup package, right? Like in theory, we also could play maybe Indus to get this also more online, but we'll see. Yeah, cut Find off of Narpoon. I think we could. Like Cryoling to 2, I think is probably like not that bad. And then we have an extra space for like maybe one Indus because it's just an extra name. Like this looks really scary. No Rise, I sleep. You don't need Rise, it's so expensive. And like this deck plays Catarants and Ambrosias and you're like, okay, out my dudes. You know? Oh, hey Dyer, hello, good to see you. One deck for each element, but not mono. Yeah, effectively. It doesn't have to be mono. But we have been building different decks for each. You know, we have Frost. Someone check on your fems. Actually, I should save this, and I will be saving it as check on your fems. Save. The first one we built, if you missed it, was Dad Came Back with the Milk, aka Solar. And Solar, I think, is playing cows. I've seen this deck is like kind of silly, but the foretell and the setup stuff with this is actually pretty strong. I think. Now, to be fair, these are drafts. These are drafts. Chat rated this one 8 out of 10. I'll say 8 out of 10 is pretty all right. So we'll see. Welcome in, Dyer. Hello, good to see you. All right, back to check on your fems. Okay, so it's pretty wild because I think this is about right. I don't know if I like the Gorgons in here. Maybe you could side in the Gorgons for a little faster stuff. Like again, you might just want to run like Nogs. And this is about the list, right? Like this is a big first draft, but I think it's definitely like you just OTK. Like what are you doing except for just OTK in this list? And that's the scary part. Rhinoth can go in the Rhino sect, which is super good. Morolith's a big body. And it's like you're just milling for free. Turning on stuff like you're a bomb or your Bat Form. Bat Form also pairs well now with Terraform, which is super cool. Cryoblast is native removal. You have Catarant, which is a healer. Not insignificant, a 3-body can get over attack position Astrabbit, which does come up. And then you have Frostix as your one of that you can search off of your Narpoons. Like, it's looking good. It's looking tight. It's looking strong. I don't know. And maybe you do only run like one Keone, but it's all right. What timestamps do I scrub for all the debates about the 5 and P-Gust? Oh, good question. Like the last ones, I can't remember. I need to do it though. Pulsar? Ooh, Pulsar would be good. Oh, Pulsar would be pretty good too, because Pulsar's like a big body. Do I need 3 Catarant? Do I need 3 Catarant? I don't know if I need 3 Catarant. We might play Pulsar. Like, cut the Cryos. The Cryos are crazy. We have to keep the Cryos. Cryos are like, in this deck specifically too, like you're just effectively trying to OTK and outspeed. This is nuts. I think you're doing too many arcs in one deck. Quite literally, I think, unfortunately, this does work. And it sucks. Because, like, again, the turn 1 this into Morolith, and turn 1 Morolith is strong. Super incredible, and then turn 2 you go Cryoling, or in Frost 6 or Buyback Cryoling, go Cryovern or double Cryovern. It's insanity. You know? Yeah, thoughts on Blizzard for the side deck, back row. It's on theme with Frost. I don't hate that. I think it's native like removal that also turns on like your Cryoling. I've always been a big proponent and big fan of things like Thunderstorm, even though they're not as good because they're expensive, right, for spirit efficiency. But I do think that there's a reasonable cause that you could side that in. Like, this deck doesn't really care. I feel like the Frost deck now with like a baseline like this doesn't really care about counter runes as much. Because again, like going first, and you're oftentimes wanting to go first, you set up your Morolith, it's a big body, and then you're trying to pressure on with the rest of them. It's like, what do you do? Right? And then also Rhinosect is typically misenchanted with water as well, so it's like you're playing around Tsunami, plays well into Tip, plays good into Gorgons. Shield kind of hurts, but not really. It's scary. It's really scary. Again, check on your Fems. Yeah, Blizzard's awkward with when Stadium and Divine removal is harder to come by. Also true. Yeah, is Blizzard is just face down runes, right? It's just Night Beam. If you guys don't know what Night Beam is, it's unfortunately a Yu-Gi-Oh card. I know. I'll try to limit the Y word to a couple times a stream. Speaking of the Y word, Spirites. 1, 2, 5. We probably can get away with. Whoops. Probably get away with 4 or 5. Maybe I should probably go with 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we want to misenchant this, and the Rhinosect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for 6. I'm okay with 6. Pretty right. Don't sleep on Night Beam. Night Beam's kind of crazy. I know it won Doug a feature match, I think. So, how do you do Spirit Math? So, Spirit Math in this game is either one of two ways, right? One of two ways. Do you guys want to know? Okay. Do you guys want to do a quick side tangent on Spirit Math? Yeah, towers, they'll just random suppress and remove the Prion Pop. That's also true. It really is. I think that's the nice part about having Rhinosect and these 2 drops with like flexible stats and effects. Is that Rhinosect is one of those cards that unfortunately does do your laundry. So oftentimes it just like, it's a big body and then also transitions into being like randomly just the best removal spell inside the entire game. It's super cool. All right, Spirit Math. All right. Well, let's do some Spirit Math. What's a good song to do Spirit Math to? This one's good. Okay. Let's do a quick Spirit Math. I'm going to go ahead and pick 5s. And we'll talk about the Spirit Math for this. Now, this is an old list. This is an old list, but we're going to do the Spirit Math. Okay, this is cheating a little bit. Actually, this is a bad one. This is a bad one. What's a good one? Bears, Earth, 5s, Fire, Frost, Fire, Monarch, Salad, Water. You know what? Let's just build 5s. 5s is like a really good way to flex your Spirit Math if you know what you're doing. So let's just build current format 5s. How about that? So start with the runes. 1 Earthquake because you can. Might even play Rock and Hard Place. 3 Tsunami, why not? 3 Ambrosia because you can. 3 Gorgons, 3 Tip, 2 Shield, because that's I think what people are going to be on. You're going to want to run your 3 Cryoblast because it's just removal natively. Where's your Laurels? Laurels. There we are. All right, next, Elestrals. Any Elestrals here? We're gonna go with Thunder first. You're gonna rock with your 3 Rabbit. So you're gonna rock with the Rabbit, you know what I'm saying? Maybe 2 Boom Bat again. We're kind of building somewhat Jax list, so we'll see that. Speaking of that, Lunar. Gonna go the Lunar Spirits, gonna give 2 Spectera some love, maybe 3 eventually too, which is nice. Let's go for the Fire Elestrals here now. The fire portion of the 5s go for like maybe 1 or 2 Ash Rabbit in the main because it's really good. The Lavalith, which is super strong. And then like 2 Necruff. You don't need 2 Necruff. We'll trim down here in a little bit. Next, water. We will go into 1, 2, 3 Galaxy because it's peak. We'll go 3 Eddy because it's peak, and then we'll go into 2 Mustache, 2 that. How is that? A lot of dudes, not a lot of runes. It kind of makes sense though. We're kind of replacing the forms of removal with guys, so that's perfectly fine. Again, we're kind of speed running this a little bit. That way we can keep an eye out for things. Am I missing any key cards instead of a 5 strategy? I don't really think so, but this is about right. So, cut Ash for small. Yeah, we can maybe run 1 Ash. I don't think we need multiple. I kind of want to run 2 Necruff instead, though, but who knows? Dratago also is a pretty good one instead of 5s, but this looks like war crimes. It kind of is war crimes. But the gist of it is kind of to teach you guys spirit math. So the spirit math actually is a lot easier inside of the old, like now versus like the old way of doing it. Because like the old way of doing it is you have to account for your 3 earthquakes. You have to account for like your random stuff. Let's see. Hey, what's going on, LUCK? Hello, good to see you. I only lost into Rhino because I couldn't stick a guy to turbo into Volt. Volt's also kind of cracked. Okay. So I'm gonna give you the quick and dirty on spirit math. Spirit math is both vibes based and actually has a formula. All right. There is gonna be a video coming out sometime soon from both Bean Soldier, Josh, and Caleb, talking about the like actual like formula and like the idea behind it. The general gist is that like there is a way to calculate out the perfect spirit math for a deck, and it's like adding all of them up and then doing some shenanigans. Now, personally, I think you could go for half and half, right? You could go for vibes based, which is kind of just like feel out how many spirits you're required to have and what you need, and then tune with the formula. Ready? So here's the formula. Write this. All right, check it out. Right, I'm gonna do it for you real quick. Super easy. Oh. Okay. So let's go to filters and spirits here. Any. We'll go to some stuff. So right now, and a good rule of thumb, and how I like to talk about it, is that if you have 3 copies of a card of a single spirit type, put 2 spirits just to start. Like, it's really easy. Because the idea is that like you might want to take 1 for damage, but you only probably need 1 of them to resolve anyways. So for anything with a single with 3 spirits, again, Cryo Blast, a great example, 1, 2, 3 Frost spirits here, just put in 2. It'll give you 2 resolutions of Cryo Blast, right? Earthquake is a 2 of, so you want to activate the Earthquake, so 2 Earthquake seems pretty easy. Lunar, Spectaris, you could probably get away with just 1 because it's like you only really need it to be 1, but we're gonna put 2 in there because we have the space, and we'll fine tune later. So Spectris also a really prime like target for things like tip and shield, so that's partially why we also want 2, because you always want this properly enchanted. It's not a native 5, so you don't really get the benefit of not doing that, but we'll do that. Okay, now for the water spirits, because the water spirits are, no, sorry, we'll go on to thunder. So Ash Rabbit's kind of very similar. Like you do want 2, right? We'll go base 2 for the Ash Rabbit because you have 3 Ash Rabbits. So 3 Ash Rabbit, 1, 2, 3 thunder, 2 thunder. But problem is you want to be able to re-enchant the rabbit a few times. So I think 3 is pretty solid. You could go for 4 if you want to. And we also have the boom bats. So this probably goes into like a 5, realistically. Again, we're gonna run out of room, and that's perfectly okay. Now, we have Lavalith, we have Ash Rabbit, we have Necruff. You probably don't need the Ash Rabbit, but we're gonna keep it in here. The point is we have 4 fire spirits in general that most of these things we want to enchant. Necruff is most likely gonna be a water or a frost to play around Cryoblast and play around Tsunami, so we don't really need to have it be properly enchanted. So instead we can build with this in mind. So we can go 2 absolutely, we'll go a 3rd just in case we wanna flex the Necruff, or go for Ash Rabbit. Easy peasy. Again, the rest should be water, because we have the water. So is that enough water? This is how you know if the formula is correct or if your deck building is correct. Ready for this? We count the water spirits. Let's go this first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, chat. What's 14 divided by 2? 7. Thank you, Dyer. Gold star. We are in... I should have asked you that with the glasses on. Correct. Impromptu Professor Swolax lecture. Now you get 5 extra points on your final. Okay. So here's the problem with this, is that we don't have enough, right? We have six water spirits, which in theory, if we want to activate the most amount of our water Elestrals, in theory, we need more than 6. We need like 7 or 8, just kind of depending, right? Just try and bro, also partially true. Spirit math, we do need to manage it a little bit. Spirit management is part of this. So we need to look for cards that we can cut. Either cards we can cut in the main deck that are expensive, again, like a 3rd Smoltuga might be expensive, or we can try to cut the spirits. Now, personally, that fire is looking very cuttable, to me, at least, which means we can fit in 1 extra water. Now we're back to 7. And unfortunately, too, I think having 5 thunder isn't required. We can cut a thunder and we can go back to this. Now we have 8 water spirits, right? And this is effectively it. And if you look, I think at Jayak's topping list for the most recent couple tournaments, our winning list, excuse me, for the past couple tournaments, this is about right. It's about 7 or 8 water with like 4 or 5 thunder, 2 frost, 2 lunar, 2 Vipyro for the 2 Lovelith, but now we only have 1, so RIP. And then, 4 earth, think for the earthquake in there. But now we can cut the earthquakes and we can put in some other stuff. So this would be how you do the spirit math, right? So if you're looking at your deck and you're like, wow, there's so many random spirits here. First things first, let's talk about like something a little more like intuitive, which is that when you see 3 of a copy of a card that is a 1 spirit cost of a singular type, just throw in 2. Throw in 2 to start, cut back later if you want to, right? That ensures that you get a decent amount of activations, and you can manage your spirits a little easier, right? Second, if you have cards that are 2 cost, then that's going to be expensive, but you do need at least of those 2. So put those in, right? There's that. Yeah, do we count the cost of the card or just itself for 2 drops? You count 2, so you always count the spirits. So Lovelith would be 2 spirit fires. So in total here, we need 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 fire spirits, but in reality, you can get away with 2, either for the Lovelith or for the enchanting stuff, right? Necroth is also always gonna be misenchanted, so you can almost forego it. That being said, things to consider. The formula here that you want to go with here is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14, divide that by 2, add 1, right? So in theory, we need 8 spirits to make this perfect. The formula is add up all your spirits. Divines always count as 2. Effectively, divines will always count as 2. So like Zeus, for example, on a Thunder deck, will be 2 spirits. It's a 2 spirit cost card, effectively. And that's it. That's how you make your spirit math. If you're ever worried about having a lot of 1 spirit, count how many you have, take that total number, divide it by 2, add 1. And that's like your baseline. And then salt to taste from there, adjust from there. If you have like 3 Tsunami in a deck with no other waters, just run 2 waters. And it's perfect. Now, special considerations like Viscerus, you probably could get away with just 1 Owloon if you're running like 2 Viscerus or 2 Spectaris, for example. But if you have the room, it's just nice to have the extra Lunar if you want. So there's that. Yeah, alternatively, your name is Dialis and you just play 20 solar. So based and correct. The way A-Drive intended. 20 solar spirits. It's amazing. It's amazing. But yeah, effectively, this is like the way to do it. And if you're ever finding yourself inside of like spirit purgatory, where you're like, oh, I don't know what to do, look at cards in your deck you could even cut to make the spirit math easier, right? Like, let's say we don't really have the room for these 2 earth spirits. Well, then just cut it. Just cut it. Right? Like, just cut it. Maybe you have too many waters and you want to cut down, just take out a small Tuga. What's the card that's the least effective in your deck that you don't need? Just cut it. Cut it down to 2. Like, that's fine. Right? That's the big one. But yeah, I missed Dyer's comment earlier, but I thought it was pretty good. Your method makes a lot of sense and is very insightful, but comparing it to my method, it's very funny. Just majority spirit color should have 8 or 10, and then 2 of each color for elements you got. Kind of, right? It's like half vibes based. The real math is like add up all your spirits plus and then half plus 1, and that's like the perfect amount for frequency and for like comfortability, or comfort and for frequency, and then just vibes based from there. I'm a big fan of vibes based because, like, for example, Sorlet's a good one where, like, if you're playing 3 copies of Sorlet, I think 2 wind is fine. 3 might be ideal. Mustation inside this list specifically too is like a weird consideration, very similar to Sorlet, where it's like you kind of want, like, even if we could run 5, let's say we could run 5 water spirits, I don't feel comfortable with that with having a deck like Mustation, which is effectively a 2-cost water. You don't count it as a 2-cost water because you're wanting to pair it with Galaxy, but like that's the type of like idea here. And 5s is a very hard deck to spirit math. I will say this is like the most complicated your spirit math will get is 5s. But other than that, we can pick out literally any other deck, and we can make like and we can do more of the spirit math from there, right? So for example, we'll go to this. I'll show an example of doing the spirit math later with a deck like Thunder, which I think can play a bunch of different spirits and get away with it, right? And that's how you have to like go about it. What's going on, PK? Hello, good to see you. That's my man. Everyone say hi, PK. Hello, PK. The only spirit math that you need is 20. 20. That's right. Absolutely. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. So that's our impromptu. That's our impromptu lesson for spirit math. Effectively, is just we didn't even say the spirit deck. Oh well. Oh well. Oh well. Hello, Mr. Dat Hotness. Absolutely. Oh no, please. Mr. Dat Hotness was his father. You can just call him the Hotness. I love that joke. That's such a stupid, silly joke. That's just a silly joke, but I love that joke. All right, so back to the check on your femmes. All right, so effectively, if you're playing a lot of a mono type, by the way, you can just slap in and just go and just be like, how many spirits can I forego? Right? Like it seems all right. We're not even doing any complicated spirit math, like stuff like this right now, and you can adjust it to taste, like take out some stuff. But effectively, and again, we'll look at like how we want to do this. Is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 water spirits, and you take 10 water spirits that you potentially want here, right? Because you're going to be misenchanting these Cryoverns or these Rhinosects every so often. So you do want to consider, if you can swing it, to have more of these like flex spot spirits, right? So you can. When we get to Earth is actually a really good example of the spirit math stuff. So if you guys are around here for Earth, then Earth is going to be like perfect to showcase you guys how that spirit math works out, because Earth is all mixed elements, and it's like it's very strong. So big fan of that. Play EQ with 2 fire because I forbore. Uh-oh. Break time? Absolutely. Okay. For the check on your femmes list for Frost, how would y'all rate this deck list? Again, we kind of went off topic, but to recap, and for some of you guys coming in here a little bit late, this is a speculative list for what I think that Frost could do inside of this upcoming meta. It's like a Frost OTK swarm the board style, overtake with Morolith and the more Frost stuff. A 4, I see 4 from Dialis. I see a 6 out of 9 from Space Pope. Absolutely, nice. I'll take a 6/9. 7, I'm scared about the lack of counter runes. Me too. 10 out of 10, I like Frost. Shocker there. 6, need more PTA. 6 there. I think that's about right. So like, if we're rating, so right now our current ratings are Up top, we have 8 for solar, 6 for frost. 5.43 for dang it. 9? I got Keebs on a 9. Hell yeah. Absolutely. Okay. So I think from here, we can come back to this later whenever we go into our final tier list rankings at the end of this. But ultimately, I think that a rhino out of sect. So silly. So silly. I'm gonna rate this one a rhino out of sect. And technically that's a rhino out of 6. Reality. Real. I made him. What are we rating? I missed something. We're rating the decks. So this for a benchmark. Dad came back with the milk. We give an 8 of how we're feeling about the solar list and how we're feeling about solar. 8. Now we have check on your femmes, the frost list. Mixed reactions, but effectively like a 6 to 7. You know, we're feeling this one out. So that's I think what we're feeling for frost. We can probably move on to the next element. Also eating dinner during all of this. Very important. But frost I think is very scary. It has more frost 4 out of 10. There we go, it's also fair. More 4 frost. That's very fair. All right, chat. It is time once again. We're done with frost. Wheel time. It's time for the wheel. Gamble, gamble, gamble. We will win. We will win. 3, 2, 1, spin. Ooh. Oh. Last minute savior into wind. Into wind. Crazy. Crazy. All right, we'll build out wind here. So wind is nuts. I will say wind has a lot of good tools, and we can make a pretty good wind nexus list if we're not trying to make a wind like beatdown strategy. So we'll try for wind nexus, and then maybe if we're not feeling it, we'll go into like a more straightforward like threes list, right? Because I think threes is crazy. Wind has a lot of great utility. I think its big power plays right now are Alter and P-Gust, and that should go off more often than you think. So let's go ahead and get into wind, and we have 5 more spirits after all of this. Ready? Let's get into it. Okay, let's build wind. Yeah, does wind change at all, or is it literally, or is it just better as it is? I think it's good. We'll start off. I think it's good, but it's also one of the first decks that we have like a lot of mixed spirits for, that I think is like a more straightforward Elestrals deck, how we would see it like the previous formats, right? So there's that. Yo, what's going on? What's going on, Mal? Hello. Good to see you. First time catching a stream, not to glaze, but just wanted to say you guys are making Elestrals in my favorite game. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hey, you can always glaze if you want to. I'll always appreciate a glaze. But I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for being here with us. And thank you for watching the content and for engaging. This game is super fun, and it's really engaging. A lot of really neat stuff happening too, and I'm glad that people are getting into the space. So that's nice. Glad to have you here. Hello. So, would you play Alter at 3? I like to play it, but it's not always live. I think you do play Alter at 3 in a deck list like this. This is a little more straightforward than the last ones. We actually probably won't go super Mondo crazy, and we'll build something super straightforward. So starting with that, we'll go with the runes. Now, I think I did see someone earlier say, like, are you on purpose leaving out Astrabbit for your builds? And the answer is I think certain decks don't need to play Astrabbit anymore. Like, you should, because it's just really good. It's a nice, like, Thunder 3 of you could play. But some decks just don't need to play it. And I think there's probably a good, like, argument made that, like, Solar doesn't need to, but could. So maybe we'll go back and add that in later. We'll go in with a Earthquake, as always. We'll go with a 3 Ambrosia. This deck requires 3 Ambrosia. This is such a scary list. 3 Gorgons, 3 Tip, 3 Shield. I'll put in the 1 Resting. It's gonna be cut bait for later. 2 of the Tsunamis. Good into everything else. Oh, Altar. We also need 3 Altar. Where is Altair? 3 Altar stars, I think is pretty good, and we'll also be going into our Aeolus. Aeolus. Right, I think that's pretty good here. All right, so 2 Aeolus with 3 Altar is probably fine, because again, we're gonna be searching it. I'm gonna put in 1 copy of Zeus too. Zeus is really, really strong inside of Wind because it's a flex spot for outing out, for outing anything, right? So we're gonna go for Elestrals now. Our Thunder Elestrals. 3 Rabbit, 3 Chick. Perfect. That's it, baby. Wind now. Wind is weird. Tons of cards inside of Wind that are good for utility. This deck loves to play random searchables, and I think it's like it's no surprise that that you can just kind of play a bunch of 1-ups very similarly to Solar, right? This deck kind of feels like Solar in some ways. And with the inclusion of like new guys like the Venoms, I think this deck list gets really scary. But we can fill it out and we can go from there. 1 U, 3 Toxiswarm probably. I like 1 Vertuka. I think it's good. I think it's really good. And I think we can go from there. Okay, so what do we want to play? Maybe the 2 Exaltair, I think it's probably fine. I think Sorlet being a generic like beater body is pretty strong as well. And again, anything that we can bring here, we can search the Aeolus. Because it's just there. Right, Divine Blessing over Shield. I think Divine Blessing could go hard here. I just like Shield as more of a generic option, but we could put 2 Divine Blessing here, just like a just in case. Because we do have the space. We can take out a Shield and go 2 Divine Blessing. I don't even hate that. Like as like a nice little like on top of. Let's try it there. Let's Rune. Wind Rune. That's not what I wanted. Earth. Any. I don't hate Divine Blessing. We'll give it a shot. Because you will have something here. Other consideration there is the Island of Aeolia. Actually, yeah, I actually think that that's better. Hold on. Hold. I literally just cracked myself up. Perfect. Ta-da! Here is a wind list. That was easy. To be fair, I also play this. I know how to play Wind. I like Wind and Wind Burn. It's pretty good. But yeah, stadiums go crazy mode now. Absolutely, they're so much safer into like now that Lobolith is gone, and they just make all of your bodies super hard to get rid of. Like Sorlet becomes a 6. Toxiswarm becomes extra scary because it's a 5 and it burns. That means it's potentially going to be doing like 4 damage a turn. Wild. Exaltair is also really good, and the pairing with Aeolia means extra targets, right? Which is really strong. And I think that's very, very important to deal with, right? But yeah, man, I want to send you my win list. It's so dumb. I think Wind is like so flexible in a lot of ways. I was playing a 3s list earlier, right? Findus and 2-drop Boar. Oh, let's go! I love the Findus stuff. Findus is so cool. It's really good, but also really hard to set up. But now with like the Spirit Math stuff being a little bit easier, there's definitely a case where you could just run it and be like fine, right? But anyways, so this list here, I think what's nice about it is because you're kind of foregoing your extra copies of Earthquake or resting on your laurels, which you maybe weren't playing a lot of laurels because you're gonna have your Aeolus, you're gonna have your islands up, but it's a nice one of, you might as well play it. You can now tech in things like Vertuka, which I think is very strong, and play more one-ofs like Galaxair to help out random boards, which is nice. I think almost going down to 2 Elechic, going 2 Galaxair is almost better here. I'm a pretty big proponent of like the 2-3s on some of the guys, and I really think Galaxair is super, super strong. Now, is it great? No. But it is better at outing first turn boards, like a 5 body stat, and can out things like can out some pretty hard like guys to remove, right? 2 Starlight feels weird. 2 Starlight does feel weird, but I personally don't like 3. I think in this list specifically, you're either misenchanting or you're getting the one-off thing for wind, and that's like every so often it is. Now it does out most of the lists, and it's a really nice utility card. But again, I don't feel comfortable running 3, just because I think you have other forms of removal that are like much more situational and effectively do the same thing. So it just gives you a little more flexibility to do it. Right? Always play 2 chicks. Yeah, like I kind of want to play 2 chicks in either the 3rd Sorlet or the 2nd Galaxair. I think either or. Right? I don't know. Do you think Pantera will see more play now that there's less removal? Maybe. I think that's a consideration too. I think the Wind Burn list does more than the Hydrake stuff. Like I love Hydrake. Hydrake is a super well-designed like recruiter strategy because what it allows you to do is like really punish your opponent for playing effectively Force. So it's really good into Earth, has a pretty decent Earth matchup because of it. The only problem with Hydrake is I think its Spirit, it's pretty costly, right? Like you're doing a lot and it can still get outed by things. Now the lack of removal in the game does mean that Pantera is going to like absolutely like crush. Like when it hits the board, it's going to be like, sir, a 3rd head has hit the board, you know, like, so 3rd head, that kind of thing, right? Smashes the skateboard. But I think once it might get outpaced. It's straight up might get outpaced. It's crazy. It doesn't just lose super hard to Spect. It also does. Spectaris and Dense Fog are in the format, so it's like not super safe. I think people are playing really smart around Gorgons, and it's like that is pretty devastating. I think 2, it doesn't pair super well into like Chronodile, or it doesn't pair well into like Kuribus. It also will never pair well into Draking. That's what I will say. Like Draking is going to be the absolute like death of that deck, because what you're gonna do is you might just swing with your guy, and then like our Draking will swing into Hydrake, and then Hydrake will like sit on your board, and then what are they gonna do? They have to attack the Hydrake. So then you just get a 2nd Hydrake, and it's like, okay, you have to play 2 Panteras? Well, now that I'm thinking about it, that's pretty good. Oh no, it's always gonna be Misenchanted, because it's gonna be water or the other one. Yeah, see, like that's not great. It's not great, right? So I don't know. I do think that 2 Chick is pretty good here, and we can play an extra Wind. I'm gonna throw in the 3rd Sorlet as like a generic 5, but it could also be Galaxair here. We'll just put that out there. It also could be Falacane. Let's go. Love Falacane. Big fan of Falacane. Let's go Sorlet. Perfect. Now we're gonna save this deck as Air Jordan. Shoutouts to Peeps YGO. I should have misspelled the name. That'd be really funny. 2 Nemasail also could be good here too, because Nemasail is a pretty power player inside of like a win strategy. Okay, who's ready for Spirit Math? Do you guys want to see how Spirit Math is done in a deck like this, where there's 1, 2, 3, 4 elements represented here? Who's ready? Because I think it's actually really straightforward. And again, we're gonna apply the method that we learned last time with 5s, and we're gonna get into this crazy spirit list. All right. I am Professor? Absolutely. All right. Fair enough. Excuse me. All right. Spirit Math time. Let's do it. First, filter spirits. First thing you're gonna do is you're gonna identify any 3 ofs, right? We see 4 Zap, 2 Terratlus, 2 Leviathan, Rest Wind. Pretty good. But almost wrong. We'll see. This is Deck Doctor Stream. What's going on, Rix? Hello, good to see you. We are doing a challenge per se, where we are taking each element, each spirit type inside of the game. We are constructing a deck. We're gonna rate the decks, ultimately see what we can play for this next format, and kind of get some people ready. We're deck building together, kind of just to put some thoughts out there. And so far we built Solar, we built Frost, and currently we're on Wind. So let's do the spirit math. First things first, let's count up your easy ones. 2 Earth, absolutely. 2 Water, might adjust more. I'm personally a big fan of 3 Water because you might be able to have a random Storelet here for this Misenchanted. It's pretty good. And then now we're on to Thunders. Again, you kind of want to start with least to most is also a good strategy. So least to most spirits. But here's the rub. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 Thunder Spirits. Because again, Zeus counts as 2, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Divided by 2 is 3.5. Gotta check on your fems. Everyone checking your fems. Absolutely. What the Frost deck look like? We can go back to the Frost deck here in a moment. So 7, it's 3.5. So you're either playing 3 or 4 here. I think 4 is definitely a safe bet. You could even go for 5, but 5 gets you in really kind of scary territory because you don't want to run out of wins. And here's why. So Storelet is weird because you might misenchant the Storelet, but we're still going to count it just so you can have proper, because you can just like properly enchant. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18, you need at minimum 10 Wind Spirits. 9 plus 1 is 10. Because 9 is divided by that. So we need at minimum 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 11 spirits in here, and that's about right. But yeah, Zeus can be at 1 at least. I expect to survive. That's true. It's like a one-off use. Personally, and this is just salt to taste preference. So now that we've done the spirit math, Space Pope brings up a great point of just doing like a little bit of touch up and clean up here. Because what we can do is now we can salt to taste. Now that we have our base down, we can now salt to taste. Personally, I think if we have 3 Thunder Spirits, that means Zeus will always be a 1 of. And if we do need the extra Wind Spirits, then it's like maybe fine. But I do think that we might want to have a 2 enchant Zeus just so we can guarantee another out later to force a counter rune is a pretty good example. Or if we want to have a second Thunder Spirit to enchant the rabbit, right? And that's true. Shouldn't Aeolus count as more because he costs more? Not necessarily. So because it's only 1 cost and you can, the minimum requirement is 2 for the effect to detach or disenchant, you either have the option to go as minimal as possible at 2, or you can load up. I'm never a fan of loading up this card. I always maybe want to put in like 4, detach 2 to have 2 on it left, or go for 4, or go for 3, detach 2 to have 1 left, and then just make some plays. The big thing you do want to pair it with is Alter and P-Gust though, which so I do kind of get it. It's kind of nice. So at minimum it's 2, and you're kind of wanting to go like just for 2. On this one is like your bare minimum that you should go at. I think treating this thing as a 3 or a 4 just means that you have less room for playing other spirits. And again, on a good note for the water list too. So we only have 2 tsunamis. You can get away with 1 water. In fact, if you want to misenchant the Storelet, you can get away with just 2 waters. But instead, I personally think that having 2 just to double misenchant the Storelets to play around Tsunami, and then maybe having an extra 1 or even 2 second copy of Tsunami does come up. And again, Ambro is there to kind of help us with our spirit math. And then Nemesail is there to carry back our wins, which is pretty costly. So this would be your wind list, and that was our wind spirit math. Any questions? Any questions there? Okay. Chat, how would you rate this list? So we have 8 for Solar. We have 6 or 4 for Frost. Check on your fems. How would you rate this list? We got a 3, like 3 for 3s. I'd say this is an 8. I can't come up with improvements. Quite literally, that's kind of how this works sometimes. As you're like, oh, I can see this topping. Exactly. She tops, right? She tops. She's a topper. 9 out of 10, but I love wind. Absolutely. 8, 10 because it's wind. Keeves gets it. That is kind of the gist of this one, right? We're trying to make decks that are pretty straightforward. And this looks very similar to most of the wind list from last format. Just sans a couple of removal cards. That's fine, because wind was really good. And now I think we'll see a lot more play bubbling up above because of the hits. The Lavalith is gone. Lavalith is wind's biggest predator, and now it's at 1. Now, what does that mean for the ecosystem of Elestrals? Who knows? But for now, that's good enough. Okay, so Dad came back with a milk. We rated an 8, which was solar. Feels good for solar. Everyone check on Dialis and Trish. Next, we did check on your Fems, which is our frost list. This thing is like the turbo frost list. There's a bunch of different ways to make frost. We have Frost Nexus, we have simply more frost, a bunch of different things, right? But this version of Frost Nexus is like a mix between the more frost stuff, the cryo stuff, and the Rhino Sect, which all does feed really well into itself, right? But the more important thing is you're quite literally, just trying to turbo out big dudes to end the game. This is a nice OTK swarm list. So there's that. Let's check on your Fems. All right, and finally, Air Jordan, our wind list. I didn't say the spirit deck. Wow. Okay, so let's do it back again. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 wind, 4 thunder, 3 water, and 2 earth. Perfect. There we go. We did it. We did it, Reddit. All right. Next, we're on to the next element. So, if y'all are ready, let's go gambling. Once again, we are back with the list, back with the wheel. Wheel time, let's go. Back with the wheel. We are wheeling it and dealing it. We will win. Spin that wheel. Oh, thunder. Interesting. Okay, thunder's weird. Thunder is a weird strategy because I think it actually gets a lot better and could potentially have been a really good deck in the last format. But because of the hits to Loblith and Laurels, which were this deck's biggest predator, I think we actually are going to be building what I want to test for this upcoming format, which is a Thunder list. I think Thunder is very strong. Phosphozel, I think you can go more straightforward. In fact, I think we can bring out the Ankh. I think we can bring out Ankh. I'm so ready. Okay, we'll go into Thunder real quick. We'll showcase this deck. Top tier deck for 2 formats straight and kind of fell off. I think you could see a rise again. 4 more spirit elements left. And Thunder is what we have right now. So, let's get back to building. Arculus so crazy. Arculus is so good. Is so good. Oh my god. Ankh. We're so ready. We're so ready for Ankh. We're so ready for Ankh. So ready. Okay. Now we're gonna move on to Thunder. So Thunder is really interesting here. I think Thunder is a funny deck because it's also one of those like mono decks that can run a lot of utility. I like the idea that Thunder is like, that like you don't really need a whole lot here and has 3 copies of native removal. I think the Uncle thing is like really messing up my frame rate and stuff. It's really funny. It's like absolutely destroying my computer right now. That's so funny. Okay, we might want to turn off Ankh. We might turn off Ankh until we can get to Ankh. How about that? Oh god. We'll turn off Ankh until we can get to Ankh. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's funny because you're usually splashing Thunder and other stuff. Exactly. Thunder's a great consistency engine, but people forget that like its own deck type is still very scary. And on top of that, it's gotten some new power players, which is super good. And shoutouts to my girl. This list plays native removal. Banger. Banger. It's his fives, baby. It really is. Okay. I'm gonna start with the Elestrals this time around. Last time we started off with the runes, which was like our big ones, but we'll see. How's the format shaking out post bans? What's going on, Samuel? Hello. I heard that a bunch of cool stuff is playable now. The EQ is necessary. What's necessary? Where are you at? So a few things. One, I'm not a proponent of the war crime stuff. I think there's more interesting things to play. Two, I think game plan decks do have a place. In fact, let's present to the class. Dad came back with the milk. That's Coper. Dad came back with the milk. Where is Dad came back with the milk? Here it is. Solar. Presenting Solar. Game plan deck extraordinaire. Because removal is gone, you can play more Elestrals and you are more likely to hit your Ascensions. That's the first. Second, check on your Fems. Frost. I do think a Moralith Frost strategy that's just turbo Cryoburn into things is like gonna be played. I think strictly because this combo of more Frost Moralith is insane, especially turn 1. Now, this deck does have some clear counters, but I think it's like something that is like really interesting to see. It gets just turboing out big dudes that can form responses, right? That's something that I'm aware of. Next, we have Wind Burn. I think it's right there. I think just like you said last time, it's like a lot of Wind decks were like topping. Call Trinity, we're so back. Absolutely. Like this is effectively like the deck that was right there at the bubble, and because it has less removal and it's number 1, its native natural predator in the form of Lavalith is effectively less likely to happen. You are almost safe to run things like Aeolia and Aeolus for Alter and Pigus plays. Like it's really cool. And now we're conceiving Thunder, because I think that Thunder is a deck that will see play. I think that I'm excited to play Thunder. I think Thunder's a deck I want to test. It's still really strong, and maybe it's a little bit of cope in my half. But you know what? We're gonna do it. So we're trying to build a deck for each spirit type and just kind of get an idea of like something that could be good in theory. So we have 3 Rabbit, 3 Chick, because we can. I want to run Quackle. I think Quackle is good, but we might skip it for now. So again, back on that later. We have 3 Toxion. We have 3 Sparkit. We have 3 Unkelith, 2 Boombat. Let's see. Maybe Quackle. We'll put Quackle in here. We'll see. 3 Jolton for sure. We'll have to go with that. Runes. Thunder has so many good runes. 3 Zeus. 3 Race to the top. 2 this. We probably don't have to run the 3rd Race to the top. It's a little bricky, so we can probably run 2 and 2. But we might as well run 3 because who cares? And now we're gonna go for the any runes. 1 Earthquake because you can. 3 Ambro is an absolute necessity. This deck is super expensive. 3 copies of this. 3 copies of this. Ooh, we're running out of space. Well, there's nothing we can cut, right? What's going on, Rabbi? Hello, good to see you. Good to see you. Sparkit goes crazy in this format. I'm saying Sparkit goes crazy in this format. I'll allow it. See, absolutely. See, it's cool. It's chill. We can play Sparkit. All right. We'll cut Sparkit. We'll cut Sparkit. 3 tip. This is where the spirit math gets like really funky. I think Boombat is good, but I don't like Boom. We don't really need Boombat because like it's just removal, but we just don't need it. Like, frankly, we just don't need it. I kind of want to run like 2 Shield and then 2 Zeus and then like 2 Tsunami here. We could even play Cryoblast. I don't even hate Cryoblast in the main as like removal. I don't even hate it. No Bolt. I don't like Bolt. I do like I like Thunderbolt. I do, or Thunderstorm. I like Thunderstorm a lot because like Thunderstorm is like just back removal that you can effectively get for free off an Arcalith, which I think is super good. But I think this deck ultimately just wants to like, because of the lack of straight removal, that's gonna be more likely to be like a problem or the case. I don't know. We're also kind of low on guys, but I guess we have like max consistency, so it's kind of fine. Maybe we can even cut tip down to 2. I don't know if that's good, but we'll see. Run 16 dudes, it seems really low, especially with like when 3 of them are Unk. Cryoblast, the guys are small. Right? I don't know. Yeah, are we off the full Gary's juice? Did the Caleb juice run out? I never liked Gary. Gary's fine. Okay, let's talk about Gary. Who's gonna talk about Gary? Fulgatis. This diva. Well, Gary gets 2 attack for each enchanting rune on your field. Thunder rune. Personally, I like this guy better. Platypulse is cool. Platypulse also is like better in its own way because combination with multiple Elestrals is just better. Fulgaris is a lot of stock into a card that like might punch hard. You can run Argo with it if you're really feeling down bad, but I'm not a fan of that build. It's okay, you know, but I'm much more like into playing Arcolith. And the Arcolith stuff, I think with Thunder especially, is primo. Free Race the Tops, which is like absolutely insane. Free Ambrosias, which is crazy. Free Altar of Stars fodder. Puts back your Astro Rabbit. It's nice. Straightforward. Don't really even need Fulgaris. You really don't even need Voltempest. I think this deck plays a little bit lower to the ground, doesn't require as much setup. And the setup that you're getting is just consistency, burn, or heal. Right? And you're just getting your keys. And you can tech like a Voltempest on the side. I don't even hate that. Like if your side deck for this list is like Grifuse Voltempest, sure. Or like a Voltempest like Wind Spirit, cool. Imperial, go for it, baby. I love Imperial. And this actually could be crazy. Now that we're really talking about it, Imperial could be nuts. This card could be like game-ending good. Sonicor is amazing. I think if we're playing the 2-drop Arcolith, Sonicor could be like a good tech for it. I'm a big fan. The full art Sonicor is one of my favorite cards of all time, and I want the Stellar so bad. I can taste it. I want the Stellar Sonicor so bad. But yeah, I run Boombat over Cryo because it's native and the deck really likes to have Thunder Spirits. I also agree. The Spirit Math of this deck is like much more straightforward than you have to do last time because you have to tech in like Lavaliths previously, which you can maybe run 1 if you want to, but like, you don't really like why. It just muddies the Spirit Math. You'd rather just save those 2 spirits for this. Cryoblasting is just good, just like instant removal. So that way you're playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versions of removal. Now, counterpoint to myself. Important to do this is talk to yourself like you're a madman, chat. Like literally, like you're not already talking to a camera in your room. Is that you play 1 Laurels here, and then you play like, because Laurels I think will be live more, but it's like a random one-off bomb, and then you play the 1 Boombat, right? Or a 3rd Toxion, or a 3rd Quackle because it's 6 copies of Ambrosia. I think Heal also gets better because it's like, I don't know, cut 1 Race the Top, 1 RT3, multi-card combo. I don't see, the thing with Race Top is that because of the premier removal inside of this format, like decks with native removal, I think will also shine. Rock in the Hard Place, prime example, right? Earth gets a nerf kind of because of its Earthquake shenanigans, but Frost can native 3 Cryoblast. Like Race the Top is excellent removal in this deck, but like, I don't know. 3rd Zeus over 3rd Race the Top in my opinion. Zeus is removal. Zeus is removal. That's also true. Zeus is definitely removal. I don't know. I feel like I get bricked up on both. I like pause. I feel like I get bricked up on both Zeus and Race the Top, but the reality is that like an extra guy for something. Like if we're running 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and then just another guy. Sparkit was the other guy. Sparkit was the other guy that we could play, that we could just like have an extra do something member of the Thunder Brigade. And it was like a good card that was a good one-of card. It's a 4, so a decent stat line, and it also has like a benefit effect. And Spark It would have been fine here, by the way. With 1 Lavalith, 2 Zeus is fine. I also agree. But yeah, hear me out. Mustation and Thunder. Yo! Sit on the defense position Mustation, ascend into something. I like that for Voltempest. I like it for Voltempest specifically because you can play a water. Dewdrop is back. Dewdrop is so back. It's so back. Phosphocell line doesn't feel great, but it's fun. I think the Phosphor line will be good. I think the Phosphocell line is really funny because it's like it's faster than something like the Imperial line. But Imperial's kind of a better payoff because it's really funny, right? Eddie never hurts another guy. I do like Eddie. Eddie could go crazy in this list. Like Eddie as like a Viscerous target effectively. Or like it's not a Viscerous target. Eddie as a effectively like a Vis. Because like what you used to do in Thunder is you play Viscerous as like a 5 guy that just gets you advantage. And so you could tech an Eddie here. But like Tsunami is also kind of crazy, right? Yeah, Edward is a choice. I think we could play Mudward. But it's just removal. And it's an extra guy. So maybe we cut like, what are we on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 counter runes. I can be okay with that. We could probably cut down Unk to 2. Maybe. But yeah, Spec is an option. I think Spec's not a bad option either. We're starting to get into like the 5s territory. But it's like Unk down to 2. Race down to 2. We're playing Eddie as our random 2-ofs for removal. Now we're getting to like big theory time. Thunder is a hard one because like Thunder, in similar to like Earth in some ways, is like you can in theory just do whatever. And this is a list that'll require testing. Like our first draft here is gonna be good no matter what. Like a billion ways to Sunday, you can make this list. This list will be good. You can play this list at any capacity, but it will just take games to fill out the ratios. Right, the ratios here is the problem. Like if we go back to Wind real quick, let's save this deck. We'll save this deck as Unk save me. Save. Save deck. If we go back to the Wind list of Air Jordan, what you don't really have to worry about in this list is like what's good to tech in. You just put in a bunch of one of randoms because you can search them. You can search effectively everything with the AO list and it's like gonna be fine. So you don't really need to tech in or think like, oh, well, I have flex spots. Like you do, but just put in Wind. Like it's easy. But Thunder is the first one we've come across where it's like, where's Unk Save Me? Where it's like, you will have to test this deck out and you will have to test like specifically how these ratios feel, right? So like, is Race to Top 2 bricky? Has it been amazing all day? You always want to see it. Unkalith, do you want to see Unk like every single game or do you want to see it sometimes, right? That's the 2-of philosophy, the OCG stuff, right? And then maybe you need more counter runes. Maybe Cryoblast sucks, right? This is like the other problem with this list and like with the general idea, right? Yeah, there's enough bricks in this deck. The amount of searching twos Unk is fine. I could also agree, right? 2 Nogs over Shield. I think Nog is pretty decent inside of Thunder if we're running Quackles. But Quackle's been like crazy all day. So maybe we cut Unk and we cut Race for 2 copies of Eddie. It's a card that's just a beater that just does things. It's removal in itself. Again, maybe a little bit slow, but I don't hate it. Arcalith is crazy, but we will see it sometimes, but not every time. And we are running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards of removal. I don't hate it. Otherwise, we could run 1 Rest on Your Laurels and then add an extra guy. So it's like, so instead of Cryoblast, which I think is really good inside the strategy, instead we go for the 1 Laurels. Again, making deck concessions here. We're starting to get a little more advanced. And then we run Eddies. Right, we just play 5s. We effectively play Thunder 5s. That's 17 dudes. That feels pretty good. That feels pretty good. What's going on, Chloe? Hello, good to see you. Good evening. Good evening to you too. Are you on the modcast right now? Does Danny have you working hard? Hello, hello. Good to see you. About to be? Best of luck. I watched a little bit of the modcast last night, in fact, actually. But we're building random decks this time. We have a wheel. YugiTuber make a series that a wheel impossible, and we're building decks for each element. So let me get your opinion on this one. So we have gone through, the first one we did was Dad came back with the milk. This is a solar list. We're playing big drop solar with the cows. I think this is crazy. Obviously Josh has been writing something similar, and I think it's super wild. So chat rated this one as an 8. What would you rate solar out of 10 or 5? I don't, what's your rating on this list effectively? But chat rated this one an 8. Feels pretty good, I think. Now, after that, we went into Frost. So yeah, it looks like the Josh list, I think it's a 7.5 or an 8. There we go. Okay. Now, the Frost list is called Check on Your Femmes. This was a little more out there, but it's the Moralith Turbo deck. It's effectively the Frost shenanigans, right? 11. I knew it. I absolutely knew it. Moralith, let's go. I wish Coastalith was good. I wish Coastalith was good, that we can have the same feelings and thoughts. But the Moralith deck, Check on Your Femmes for Frost, it's there. Then we built Wind. We built a pretty standard Wind Nexus burn strategy, and it's crazy, yeah. Oh yeah, it tested against this and it feels unbeatable. I hate it. It's wild. It's wild. I think that there's clear counters, like Earth is pretty good into the strategy, but like Frost is like realistic because the removal is so low, and it's good. It's great. It's crazy how good it is. It's nuts. Then we have Wind. Wind's a little more straightforward. I think Wind is bubbling. I think it's like a good like a good toolbox deck. I think the Aeolus, like Alter P-Gus plays will go crazy. I think there's a lot of good utility here. And it's just gonna be good. Good all-around strategy, good toolbox strategy. Seems fine, right? Seems fine. 7 or 8 as well, absolutely, right? It like there's just like what do we do? Not much, not really much that makes this deck better, right? If Volt Tempest could be good. And then finally, we're on to Thunder, which is our Unk Lith we're doing, which is Unk Save Me. We don't really know. I don't really know where to place this list sometimes. But it's like, what else are we gonna do with our time? You know, like there's, I feel like there is a big, like Thunder has something there, has something in the back of the head, but there's just like something we need here, right? Yeah, Thunder Beats has potential. It's crazy, right? It has 3 native race. And it's like, it's just 5s. It has good 5s. Unkalith option is crazy. I'm not super sold on Eddie, but it's like, what are you gonna play? Cryoblast in this slot? Like you could play like something else. It makes this hard. Like there's something here with Thunder. Thunder's like Wind to me, where it's like, it's got great plays. It didn't really lose anything, and it just gets stronger in the fact that you have 3 native removal. So it's like right there. It's like right there. It's right there. Yeah, I'm playing the race heal deck, and I'm not sure how I feel about it, but it do be healing and removing still. Man, Josh has everyone pill on that new race heal, and like healing race, or race war crime, if you will. Terrible, terrible, terrible. It's like fine. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like it still does its objective. But what, you know? What is race heal? Yeah, it feels weird, right? Cause like it's Quackle is better in it because it's more Thunder oriented. But you're just playing Thunder. You're just playing Thunder Beats with 3 Sluggle. Right? Like to me. I don't know. What is Race Heal? Race Heal is effectively the heal stall list, but just edited a little bit to include Race the Top and Joltons. Because it's like slower technically, because you're still playing the 3 Cryoblasts, you're still like you're on 3 Race now as your removal, and it's like fine, right? I found myself boring into Arcalith and Smoltuga Ash Rabbit over the whole package. Really? See, okay, I think Unkalith, like our previous 5's Unkalith deck, is like really good this format. And it's so funny you say that because it's like it just feels so much better. It's crazy. What's going on, Shaiho? Hello, good to see you. Lycavolt is kind of chilled, mess around with it, and the lore got me with the Lycavolt. I think the Lycan stuff is cool. Like I think the hand rip is still really neat. And in Pauper format, I said the magic words and it's gonna bite me in the butt. Lycavolt's really strong. But yeah, even with 1 Lavalith, I think so. I think Unk is the key player there. Because like Unk was kind of bad because of the mass amounts of removal, but now I think because of like the same theory with like the Frost OTK shenanigans is that like you just replace 1 copy of your where's my Unklith? Hold on. Well, quick side tangent, chat. Let's talk about Unk, the traditional Unk list that I was running previously. Like obviously you're running 1, you're running 1, you're running 1, and that's like your list, right? Now you can just go 3rd Eddy. You can just go 3 Cryoblast in main. Because like why not? Like you can. Third Arch. There you go. We just solved the Moan and Arch list. We could even put in like Spectaris really, and just run the 2-drop big overs. I do think this list slaps, unfortunately, and it's like it's crazy. Thunderstorm's interesting. I kind of like it. I think it's good. So Thunderstorm does pair well into Viscerous. Like talking to Justin or Cards and Coffee about this, Thunderstorm is insane as a Viscerous combination because you can just go Viscerous and like really achieve some damage, and so like to guarantee like your one-off removal is going to go through. You can pair Thunderstorm into it, and it's free off the Arcalith if you want to. Otherwise, it's just a nice snipe removal to ensure your plays go off like 9 times out of 10. So I think on that level it's good. And so you could almost play like less Eddies and play Viscerous, and I think it's also fine. Like this deck is so interesting because it's like Viscerous is good into some matchups and terrible into other matchups. Eddy is great into matchups and then just terrible into matchups. It's wild. It's so wild. But yeah, Arcalith is broken in general. Arcalith Unk is crazy. I love Unk. Unk is such a good card. It's so funny too, again, because I know like Justin Cards and Coffee was on this for a while. He's like, no, this card's crazy. I saw him playing against Dimax, and I was like, wait, that card's really good. Huh. It's hard to deal with. You can just OTK out of nowhere? Cool. And then all of a sudden people were like, well, it's pretty good. You can play it. Anyways, this is my Moan and Arch list. This is the Moan and Arch Arcalith deck. And I think it's very strong. But I don't know if this is the list. I don't know if you just like we have to adjust the spirit math, obviously. But like this is maybe better. I don't know. Feels weird. Like you do these and you go filter Frost Spirits. Any. Frost. Where's Floor Mines? Checking your fems. Like, this is effectively what we would have to do here. And then maybe run a little bit less water. What's our water count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can get away with 5. 4 fire. Yeah, I think 4 fire is still correct. There we go. Now, thunder seems a little bit low, but we have like so much thunder. Like, get back. It's crazy. But all right, back to where as we were. Unk saved me. So this is the more standard Thunder beatdown list. And again, I think there's potential here. It's kind of in the back of my brain, like something is clicking, but I can't tell what's gonna break this deck. And it's like something could be like a Sonicore 2-drop list. Like that could be crazy, right? And then like the back of my brain says, but Eddy is more spirit efficient. It's a nice beater. But maybe we're out of the 5's meta. right? Maybe we are out of it. Maybe we're still in it. I don't know. It's technically just a removal of 1-drop that plays around Tsunami, which this deck can struggle with. But at the same time, you're also playing, 5 copies of removal in this list. So it's like what is the, again, right in the back of my brain. Right in the back of my brain, it just out there. I like Toxion. I don't know. This actually looks very similar to how my heal list looks post board. Yeah, it's okay. Toxion is strange. I like Toxion, except for into heal. I think if you're playing a heal list, I think Toxion is like mega bad. But I do think Toxion is good. Before we get our ears blown out by the Paper Mario soundtrack. Let me just move that. I think that Unkelith is I don't know. Maybe I should try to build Thunder. I would that absolutely. Thunder I think would be crazy to build. Super, super good to build. Cause there's experimentation here. I want to test with this. I would love to bring it to an event. I kind of want to play it for this coming Saturday again, which is a tournament, but we'll see. For now, I'll leave it at this, and then we can solve the taste later. Let's go into Spirit Math here. Yeah, it's such a funky individual card. On the play, burn 1, and then it's a 5 under the field, which sounds crazy, but it feels feels whelming to play in a deck not dedicated. Kind of, right? I think the way that Toxion works is like a late game closer. With decks that aren't effectively managing spirits as effectively, you can just kind of go in there and be burn for 1, and ensure that late game they're put into a really uncomfortable position, and then you could alter onto it to burn for extra damage to bust up with Mount Olympus. It's the classic Toxion, where it's where Toxion's always been. It's just that Thunder's missing guys. You could effectively replace this with effectively with a heal portion, right? It's crazy. Modcast time, good luck. Thank you so much, Chloe. Thanks for being here. Everyone, after this stream or otherwise, wish Chloe good luck. They got to go on Luke Von Karma's stream for the subathon. Big man's going to bed. So now it's time for real mod hours. Absolutely. But thanks for stopping by. And absolutely. Love yapping. Okay. So let's talk with Spirit Math. Let's just do the quick and dirty on this one. Obviously, we need 2 copies of Taratlus for our Earthquake Spirit Math. We also are going to be needing copies of Water. Probably just 2 of that's also fine. Then this one actually is really funny. I didn't need to do much Spirit Math because we're not playing Cryoblast anymore, so we can just go Thunder. Neat, right? We might be able to get away with more tech options because we're playing the Quackles, the Ambrosias, etc. But I find this deck really does run out of its spirits often, especially the old version of it. So I don't know. Not exactly sure. But that's completely fine. Okay, let's move on. Not gonna lie, I think while decks are good, they feel very last format, kind of, right? It's interesting because some of the decks just don't change. They just get more experimentation because we don't really get any new tools. We get our tools taken away, but what that opens up is deck strategies to potentially be able to capitalize on their existing game plans, right? Wind is such a perfect example where it's wind does not change. Wind does not change. But that's the beauty of it. It didn't really need to. Some decks need to have a whole overhaul and shift. Other decks don't need it. So you can just play it and it plays at normal. That's the natural metagame progression, baby. That's oh, Earth effectively is this exact same way too. When we get to Earth, it's going to look very similar to how we would play Earth normally. But there's going to be some decks that I think will have more experimentation and want to play a little bit more this has a game plan strategy. What's the payoff here, right? What silver bullets and what cards are going to be insane? I mean, obviously Voltempest is a good strategy. If we're playing a Voltempest deck, if we're playing a strategy Chronodile for a water could be good, but again, there's probably better things to play. And then for example, Lunar has Pharaohgeist or Draking. And I do actually think Pharaohgeist will be scary. So when we do get to Lunar, I kind of want to build Pharaohgeist too. might be the one cheat one where we build 2 decks, because I do think with this slower meta with less removal, Guys is kind of scary, guys. But that's just me. Okay. Unk Save Me. How would you guys rate Unk Save Me out of 10? Out of 10, how would you rank Unk Save Me? As I'm devouring my last little spring roll here. Ten out of 10? Like it? I almost chucked my food. Don't See Evil Tempest, 13 out of 10. Beautiful and true. Thunder's number 1 enjoyer. 10. Absolutely. Look, that is the closest spirits to 20 I've ever seen. No Rice Ridge? 0? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna... Okay, everyone, I'm gonna ask you something. Hold on. I'm gonna get in close. Get closer. I'm gonna ask you something. Porcutide deck one. True. What's going on, Cryptid? Hello. Good to see you. I love Porcutide. Porcutide's so sick. We actually should make one. Water burn. Weird, right? Do you guys want to see why I laugh every time I see Ricerage or Riceros? It's a forbidden video. But you guys have to be ready for this. You have to be ready for it, and I would love to show you. I would love to show you. Let me find it, because it was a little while ago, but it is peak. Unfortunately, it's peak. Context. This is the finals of. This is the finals of a app tournament. I think it's the last app tournament inside of base set. And there is a specific cadence that, oh God, where is this? Where is this? It was, oh wow, I'm really far back. Was this not me? Did I not post this? Was on the Knots channel? No, I don't think it's on the Knots channel. I think it's definitely me. But it's like a sneaky one. Hold. 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 I promise the payoff will be worth it. Hold. Hold. It is... Oh God, where are you? Ah, here we go. Amazing. Okay. This is a forbidden video. The context of this is the last Frostfall tournament of I think pre-Spark It ban. Pre-Spark It ban, this is like the last Frostfall or base set? No, base set. It's the last base set tournament. And it's in the finals. It's Bean Soldier TV versus Distant Coder, with none other than Tailwinds, our beloved Tailwinds, making the rounds on commentary. Now, have you guys seen the one clip of, I think it's, and I hate to use this title derogatorily, but the e-girl-ish with the 30 Seconds to Mars, the Kill Call of Duty edit? Where she's like, the animals are leaving us. The planet is dying. The aliens haven't contacted us. Have you guys seen that? Because if you have, you'll be right at home. You'll be right at home. Let's move on. Okay, so all this is to say, this is why I am laughing anytime I see Ricerage or Riceros. I will never say Riceros any other way than this right here. Okay, let's get into it. Oh, also, hey, Josh. Everyone say hello, Josh. Everyone say hi, Josh. Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready? I will probably get copyrighted for this, but oh my god.
Bean Soldier gonna attempt a swing for 2. And he's gonna get the swing for 2. Disencoder gonna draw for his next turn. He needs this to be an epic draw, but it's just another Riceros. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, your winner for the last Webcam Elestrals base set tournament of all time is none other than Bean Soldier. Bean Soldier gonna attempt to swing for 2. And he's gonna get the swing for 2.
And that's why I can never hear this ever again.
He needs this to be an epic draw, but it's just another Riceros.
It's just another Riceros. It's the way he says like Riceros. It's the way he says Riceros right here. We'll go one more time just for the copyright.
Encoder gonna draw for his next turn. He needs this to be an epic draw, but it's just another Riceros. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, your winner for the last Webcam Elestrals base set tournament of all time is none other than Bean Soldier.
Just like bumped and like elbowed my desk. Incredible. So anytime you guys say or anyone says Riceros or Rice Ridge, I will be thinking of this clip, and I hope that y'all will be too. This is an amazing, legendary clip that that Tailwind's my boy. Tailwind's my goat. It's just so funny. He's so good. He's so good. It's just another Riceros. It's just another Riceros. Anyways. Actually, you know what? Shouts to Tailwinds. We're building. We're building. It's just another Riceros. Okay, actually, before we get into that, we have to spin our wheel again. Wait. It's wheel time. Wheel time. You will win. You will win. Gamble, gamble, gamble. Okay, so we have just a little bit left to go into. We have 4 more decks. We've currently built Solar. We built Thunder. We've built Solar and Thunder. And now we have 4 more decks left. Now, I think personally, these are really exciting to see. 2 of these strategies are really straightforward and don't really change, but 2 of them are new, and one of them is potentially like meta contender. But we'll get into it. Ready? 3, 2, 1, spin the wheel. Ah, refreshing. Everyone hydrate up. Everyone hydrate up. And if you have a woman at home, I just want to tell you, get her some water too. Literally, women drink anything except for water. Challenge impossible. Challenge possible, actually. It's literally everything except for water. Water is in an interesting position because I think water doesn't really change a whole lot, right? But we do have a various, like because of the lack of removal, water can set up for different strategies. Chronodile, Draking can also be teched inside of water. Curibus can be tracked inside of water. And Water Nexus, plain Wexus, Wet Nexus, is also very, very viable. But we'll see. We'll go into this. All right, let's have this choice. 3 more left after this. Let's get to building. Let's get to building. No more gambling. Okay, we'll go with the Atlantis theme because we're gonna be underwater. Let's go with the new deck. What's going on? Words, hello. I left off on Frost. Well, after Frost, we did Air Jordan, the Wind list. This is effectively what I think Wind could be doing into this upcoming format. Built a I would say, pretty standard, straightforward Wind deck. You know, it's pretty good. A whole lot of like thoughts here. Just wind, just wind, just wind, just wind, just wind, just wind. And then we built Unk Save Me, which is like, again, the eddies is a little bit suspect in here, but like we're trying, I might want to play, I kind of want to play 3 Arcolith, but this one I think will require actual testing. As a draft, I think it's like a good baseline for what Thunder could be doing in this upcoming format. But I do think that, again, there's like small ratio things. How does 3 Race the Top feel good? Does it not feel good? Eddie, is Eddie good at 1, at 2, or at 0? I don't know. Thunder has always had a problem where it doesn't really have like worthwhile guys. So it's like, you just need to be able to find bodies that are good here, right? And maybe this doesn't have it. Maybe it's just straight up just does not have the stuff we're looking for. Who's to say? But this is what I think would be pretty all right. And now, Wet Nexus. We are into Wet Nexus. All right, so let's get wet. We've got to splash our toes into water. And unfortunately, just like Thunder, we're gonna start off with the best water card inside the entire deck. Coastalith! Yeah! Coastalith! Coastalith truthers! Any Coastalithers? Coastalith! Coastalith! It's peak! It's perfect! Amazing. I love Coastalith. Coastalith, my goat. Goatalith. Quite literally, Vertalith is Nerdalith, Coastalith is Goatalith. Unk, Goat, Nerd, and Lavalith. Or Lovalith, but Lavalith. It's always correct to refer to Lavalith as its first name, which is Lavalith. Goatalith, let's go. Then Nerdalith. All right. So, for real, water is like free low to build. If you guys really want to learn how to play water, I can do it in like no time at all. Actually, in fact, we can speedrun water. Water might be the actual fastest thing we can speedrun. Is a stopwatch on? That's stopwatch. Where's my Actually, stopwatch might be it. Holding. Let's go to live split. Live split 1. Ooh, pretty good. Okay. We in there? Stopwatch? Why is my thing online here? Oh, window capture 3, that's why. Lol. I was like, why is that up? Stopwatch though? Ooh, perfect. It's here. Okay. Are you guys ready for the easiest, like the absolute like freest thing of your life in terms of like actual like building? Okay, ready for this? I'm gonna even have a delay because I have to go back to the other window. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, water, fire. If I was a little bit faster about this again, the speedrun tack would be crazy. 1 neck rough, any rune, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, because you can. You can even run this if you want to, but we're gonna forego it for now. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 if you want to, and there we go. We're losing time here, 44 seconds. Oh my God, what can we put in here? I think we're losing it a little bit. Maybe we can go back for the third foamy. We're kind of fine on guys. Fine, we'll go into the rock and hard place. In fact, we'll play even a couple Spectaris even. Screw it. Lunar. Draking, 2 Spectaris. Go. 3 Spectaris. Why not? And that's time. That's literally time. We even had it before. 1 minute, 12 seconds. It could have even taken us less time if I wasn't just like an indecisive loser. But this is effectively a water list that you can play right now into this format, and it took me 1 minute to do. 1 minute of thought. 1 minute of actual human thought And I don't need to do more of it. This is it. Is there any consideration for Atlantis? I think so. Again, like you could quite literally, like, we'll refine the deck list a little bit. Do this, go water, go rune. Atlantis for 1. You could even take out the Drak King if you want. I think it's worth it to do. This is like a one-off random you could. But Drak Kid, we'll get to. I think Drak Kid is better in the lunar type if you're building like a lunar strategy, effectively. Like effectively, it'd just be lunar water, but you know, for that. But we're not particularly doing mono. But if you do Drak Kid, which is pretty good, there are just better beaters that you can play instead of the water strategy. Spectaris could be fine. You could honestly swap Spectaris for Drak Kid to really pair with the rock and hard play stuff. So if you like really wanted to do this, you could go Elestral, Lunar, and then go Drak Kid. And it's like kind of the same. And I think this list goes hard. Feel free to steal. Like we'll do the Spirit Math too. The Spirit Math is gonna take like 4 seconds. Ready? All right. We got 2 Earth Spirits. Maybe we have the option of Tekken 1 Fire because we just can if we want to. Like you don't have to, but you can. And then we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lunar. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lunar. Why not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sure. And then 12 water. You don't even need 12 water, but you could do 12 water. There we go. Easy peasy. What's going on, Big Kahuna? Hello, good to see you. How's it going? Did I miss the deck building? Not yet. No, we're in the quite literally, we're in the middle of it. Let's save this deck as wet, and then we'll show off what we've done so far. So to catch everyone up here who's just coming into the stream or otherwise, we are doing a couple things. The first is we are spinning a wheel. YouTuber try to spin a wheel challenge impossible. With this wheel, we are picking an element, or we are getting an element or a spirit type, and we're trying to build, or at least I'm trying to see what I think potentially could be some good drafts or some good decks that we could build off of the different spirits. So far, what we've covered is we've covered solar with Dad Came Back with the Milk. This is effectively an 8 out of 10. Looks pretty similar, pretty decent overall. And Celestlio is our big payoff drop list here, right? With things like the cows, which I think is pretty cool. Next, we have things after that we went into Check on Your Femmes with Frost. Morlith Frost Turbo, really scary. Really, really super scary. But maybe has some counters, we don't quite know. Well, this one's more experimental, but it seems pretty fun. Then we have Unk Save Me, the Thunder version of the list. Now, the Thunder deck is like fine, but we'll see how it pays off. Again, big experimentation. This is a list that I don't think has seen as much play, but could easily see play. I don't know. I want to test with it, see how good it is. It might just not be good at all. It might be cope. We'll see. Then we have Air Jordan or Wind list. Wind Nexus, very scary, especially with his natural predator, Lavalith, out of the format. So you're safe to do things like Aelus, Alter the Stars, and Beegust. Also, Island of Aeolia gets stronger. All the stadium runes get more powerful because of the Lavalith being gone. And Resting on Your Laurels, both natural predators to Wind. Now, Wind stocks to the roof. Wind strongest. Really strong. I like it a lot. And now you're caught up. We then now did Wet, which is just a water list that we built in quite literally 1 minute and 12 seconds. It took us 1 minute and 12 seconds of time to build this list. Kind of. Like, we're doing some adjustments here and there now, and I've spent like maybe a little more brain power on it, but this list is baby easy to build because you just kind of put in whatever. And there's a bunch of different ways to build it, right? Like you could build a Chronodile list. You could build a straight Kerberos list. Drak King is pretty good overall. But the idea with this list is that like this is water 5s. Like Foamy stocks through the roof, but you can also play Spectaris because the dense fog stuff, sure. But in water just is how it is. You just play water 5s with Drat King as a payoff. What's there to really say? And again, we could easily cut down on like Rock in a Hard Place for another Atlantis or a second shield for Atlantis, but it's like, I mean, your deck's pretty consistent overall. You do have good searchers and good beaters. Rock in a Hard Place is excellent in-house removal. Like, again, this list took no time to build, and you have plenty of spirits. Like the spirit math is also pretty free. Drat Kid is only in here. You could replace this. Like this is like the flex spot is with the 2 Drat Kid, 1 Atlantis. You could easily just build, like, you could just replace these 3 cards with pretty much whatever salts of taste. You could go extra counter runes if you want. You could go 2 Atlantis for 1 Drat Kid.